to our Saturday class, which is Bhakti Vriksha, where we will do a chapter from Bhagavad Gita and we will try to touch upon a verse from Brahma Samhita. Does that sound like a plan? Yes or yes?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So let's get going with a short prayer to the spiritual master first. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so reading from chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita. Vindhyavali Mataji, starting with you.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection." Text 2. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna. Text 3. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Text 4. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and I am the seed giving father. Aruni Mataji.
Text 5. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Text 6. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Who's
Yeah,
next?
it's me. Text 7. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material, fruitive actions. Text 8. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna. Varshana Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna and Dhanvatana. Thank
yeah.
you, Mataji.
Pranam Mataji.
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive actions, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Text 10. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Hare Krishna Mataji, Khyati Mataji.
Text 11. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Text 12.
Can't hear you,
O king
Mataji.
of Bharatas, where there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develops. Vidyavali Mataji, next to you.
Mataji, can you scroll it through?
Text 13.
Mataji. Text 13. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, Darkness, interior madness, and illusion are manifested. Text 14. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Hare Krishna, Sutapa Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 15. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and one who dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Text 16. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Hare Krishna. Aruni Mataji.
Text 17. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. And those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Chitra Mataji, right?
Your turn.
Chitra Mataji.
I think she's not
Yeah,
mute, but I don't know
she's not. Yeah, go ahead. Next person.
Varshana Mataji, your turn.
Tandapada.
Means
When one
text
properly says that,
Chitra Mataji, are you talking? Hare Krishna. Oh, okay. Varshana Mataji, go ahead. Sorry.
okay, when one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Text 20. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hare Krishna.
Chitra
Khyati
Mataji,
Mataji.
Chitra Mataji, you missed
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
you know, I did read Mataji. I don't know. Somehow it was, I don't know. I think it was
Oh,
disconnecting
yeah.
off and on. So okay, let me read it
Yeah,
again.
Mataji 21.
So my turn is 21, right?
Yes.
Okay, 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 Mataji. So text 21. Arjuna inquired, "O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature?" Text 22 to 25. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in faith and beyond, honor and dishonor, treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So next to me is Varshana Mataji. If she
Yeah.
has completed, then Kathy
Yeah.
Mataji can read. Text
Thank you, Mataji.
26.
Text 26. One who
Yeah.
engage in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the mode of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. Text 27. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, reflection time.
Mataji, last one, right?
Last one, you like it?
Yeah, where Krishna says that he's the like ultimate cause of the unconditional happiness.
27?
28. Oh,
28.
sorry, 27. Yes, you're right.
Okay. This is actually a very important verse that he
Yeah,
touches
because
upon.
here he's saying that he's the basis of impersonal Brahman, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Right.
So I was trying to understand this and then how, because I think Mayavadi can argue on this, right?
You meant the impersonalist or Mayavadi?
Yeah, sorry, impersonalist.
Impersonalist. No, actually, this particular verse is the one that actually squashes their belief.
So Mataji, can you explain? Then I got
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah. So let's look at what he's saying. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. So he's saying that impersonal Brahman, that light that you see and you think that that is God, I am the basis of that.
So
That
Brahman
light is
Yogi.
based on me. The light is coming from me.
Hmm, hmm.
So if this is the verse in Bhagavad Gita that you can use as a weapon, weapon of argument for the impersonalists,
Yeah, makes sense.
because he's saying that I am the
Basis of
basis of that Brahman, right?
so the constitutional position of the ultimate happiness is Krishna, not the impersonal Brahman.
Yes, and what people think like that. And let's read what Prabhupada has to say in the purport. It's an important word.
I'm glad I clarified this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you read with the devotees, you understand the
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have heard it from some authority, right?
yes.
Like that. Okay.
Vidyamalai Mataji, your turn to read purpose.
Okay, okay. Purport. The constitution of Brahman is immortality, imperishability, eternity, and happiness. Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, the super soul, is the middle. The second stage in transcendental realization, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth.
Where does
Therefore,
it say
both
in Srimad Bhagavatam? Where is this thing mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam? That the first
personality of Godhead is the ultimate realization. Absolute truth.
Hare Krishna, Dilip Bhai Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Himlata Mataji, Dandat Pranams. Good to have you here.
1.1.1.
No, actually, it comes in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? Vadanti tattva tattvidas satyam yad brahma advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan
Bhagwan.
iti brahmeti. So that's the first realization is Brahman. That's why here it is saying Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. Brahmeti paramatmeti. So the next sentence here is saying Paramatma, the super soul, is the middle, the second stage of realization of God. And in transcendental realization and Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is nothing but Bhagavan, right? So Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan, Iti Shabdate. Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate realization of absolute truth. So when you go to that level of realization, then you have realized the absolute truth. Everything else is not absolute. Any other realization is not absolute and complete, like that. Okay. Now, please go ahead, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Therefore, both Paramatma and the impersonal Brahman are within the Supreme Person. It is explained in the 7th chapter that material nature is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord impregnates the inferior material nature with fragrance of the superior nature, and that is the spiritual touch in the material nature. When a living
Okay,
entity
let's wait here. Yeah, let's wait here and see this sentence also. What is the meaning of the Lord impregnates the inferior material nature
Material nature.
with fragments of the superior nature. What does that mean?
So soul enters into the material
Exactly.
Body.
Right. And that is what impregnate. Impregnate basically means, what does impregnate mean in general?
To go into, to
To
enter.
go,
Enters.
yes, to put into, right? Yeah, where something can be put into, then that is pregnated, right? So he's just saying that what he does is he impregnates the material. For example, you can take some cake dough. When you're making a cake, you can take a cake dough, and then you can take some nuts and you can impregnate the dough with the nuts, right? So you're putting the nuts, they go inside, you mix it like that, right? Similarly, here in the case of human beings, when a lady says that she's pregnant, what happens? That a soul is coming inside the body, her body, right? That is the right? That's what pregnancy is. So similarly here, God is also doing that, making. So here in the material world, that you need a male and a female, right? The female gets impregnated from the soul that comes from the man's body. And so Krishna is doing it at a very large scale. That this whole material thing he's impregnating with the souls. Now comes the question. It's a Saturday question. Which Vishnu is impregnating?
Garbo.
Garbhodakshay Vishnu.
Karanodakasai.
Yes, Karanodakshai Vishnu. That Mahavishnu who's lying in the causal ocean, and from his body, all these universes
These
are
things
coming,
come.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So they're coming, they're living. And then, so I'll start from the other direction. When there is destruction, all these universes go back into his womb. And
Interesting.
so all these souls, all of us, actually, they go inside his womb. We stay there for a very long time. And then in the next time that when he's doing creation at his level, when he lets out the universes, then all these uh, souls are coming out and they are into the material universe, right? So that is the impregnation process. From inside his womb, they are now coming out and they are inside this universe now. So Mahavishnu, Karana, right? The cause. Okay, good. Now please continue, Mataji. I'm stopping you every now and then.
Can I just ask a
Where
question
Yes.
about this inferior? I mean, all the material universes and the spiritual universes, everything is created by Krishna via Brahma. So why is it inferior?
A
I mean,
very good question. And at a very high level, and we did that a few classes ago, we had said that a devotee, when he looks at the material energy, will only think of it as in connection with Krishna, right? So and we took a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, from the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, Rite Ritam Yat Pratyeta Na Pratyeta Chatmani. And so there it says that what exactly Maya is. Maya means not this. Ma means not. Yeah, ya means this. So Maya means not this. So if you're looking for like, okay, tell me what is the energy of the Lord, then if you look at this material world, you cannot say Maya, because it is an energy of the Lord. So you cannot say not this. The answer is this an energy of the Lord? Yes, this is. This is the energy of the Lord. So over there, Krishna is explaining that when you look at the material energy without any connection to the Supreme Lord, when you look at the material energy without connection to the Supreme Lord, then it is not, right? Then it is Maya. Then it is illusion for you. But if you look at material energy and say this is just energy of Krishna, so everything that belongs to Krishna has to be utilized in the service of Krishna, right? And so utilizing it in the service of Krishna, then even material things become transcendental. Can you give me examples of some transcendental things which are in your home?
like a statue of Krishna.
All the books, Mataji, that is also transcendental.
And what else?
And
Mataji,
Mataji,
even
Holy water.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Varshana, go ahead.
Mataji, even I feel the knife I have is also transcendental, because I am cutting the vegetables and the fruits for the Lord. So that is also transcendental.
Say that part again, last part again.
Mataji, even that knife in the house is also transcendental because I'm using it for cutting the vegetables and the fruits for the Lord.
Yes. So you see, there are transcendental. This is known as tadiya. Anything used in the service of the Lord becomes transcendental. So the ghee lamp, the plate, right? All those things are transcendental. So it's material, but the moment you start utilizing it, it's no longer inferior, right? A ghee lamp, you don't treat a ghee lamp at the same and in the same way as you would treat a coffee cup. Do you? No, right?
What about the bell, Mataji?
You tell me. What about the bell? Tell me.
There also.
Yes, of course. Anything that's utilized in the service of
Most
the Lord is
transcendental.
transcendental. Yeah.
Mataji, then the Tulsi plant will be the most transcendental thing?
It is a devotee of the Lord. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a devotee of the Lord.
Hmm.
So this concept of inferior, Aruni Mataji, comes from how you are utilizing it. So that's why he says it's inferior. And in some other words also, one can look at inferiority from another perspective also, that something which is never destroyed is inferior, is superior. Something that gets destroyed is inferior. Something which is full of knowledge is superior. Something which is not knowledgeable is inferior. Something that has the power to animate other things is superior. Something which is dead is inferior. So that way there is, you can also bring in, inferiority, superiority between the two material natures, because soul, look at soul, how powerful soul is, right?
But all this calls for judgment on our part. It's subjective, so it's what we consider to be,
Yes.
spiritual or not, or transcendental or not. So that is also,
Absolutely.
that itself is pretty
Yes.
shaky, right? It all depends on our level of
Very
consciousness,
right.
knowledge, and awareness. So for us to judge,
Yes.
so
Yes.
so that's not. I mean, it's not a foolproof way of judging, right?
Very right, very right. And that's why they tell you don't judge. Don't judge, because we have no idea what's going behind, what somebody is thinking, and what their thought processes was. And Vaishnavi Kapoor tells that very nice story of a man who was in a mall, and then he sees his friend coming out of a shop, and then his friend just looks at him. I mean, you see him like that, turning his face, looks at the friend, and just looks over there and walks away. And he's very, and this other friend is with his girlfriend. And so the first one, let's call him Tom, and let's call Jack and Jill as the man and his girlfriend. So Tom is very unhappy. He says he's hurt a lot that his friend ignored him. He's very, very hurt. And then after the hurt, after some time, anger comes. What does he think of himself? He was with his girlfriend. He's got a beautiful girlfriend. So I'm
Taking
not
for
a
me.
useless person. He will not even talk. He doesn't have the courtesy. He doesn't remember how helpful I was when he borrowed $5,000 from me. All those thoughts are going to come, right? He's an ingratiate, like that. So all these thoughts come to his mind, and he's having a miserable time. And he speaks to his wife, and wife asks him, like, why are you so unhappy? So Tom tells about Jack and Jack's bad behavior. So his wife is a sensible one. And so she says, why didn't you talk it out? I mean, you have such a long friendship with him, and ask him what happened. Maybe you said something. So he goes and talks to his friend, but he's in the mood of comparing, right? But anyway, it's his wife advice. So he listens to her, and he goes and asks him, like, so why are you, tell me, Jack, why have you been ignoring me? So he says, ignoring you? I'm so surprised.
I'm
Why do you
sorry.
say that I ignored you? So he says, don't you remember that day at the mall when you were coming out of the shop, and you just looked at me and just you walked away? You were with Jill at that time. And he says, oh, do you know? I had gone for an eye examination, and they had dilated my pupils. I was not able to see, and that's why my girlfriend was with me, because she was going to drive me back home. So you see, if we assume things, how a person
That's
behaves,
too
what they
bad.
are doing, what is happening, it's mind-boggling. So that's why we say the better approach and a safe approach for us always is that, okay, if somebody is doing, when you see bad behavior, you hate the sin but not the sinner. and you say like, okay, Krishna, you can always send a little prayer when you see people doing obnoxious behavior, right? Little prayer that why are they doing it? And you'll be so surprised that by just, if somebody is doing obnoxious behavior, one could be that you're observing obnoxious behavior somewhere. And the second is somebody is doing obnoxious behavior to you, right? Both the things can happen. You can be observer and you can be the sufferer of that behavior. And if you get in the habit of saying a little prayer for that person to Krishna, that Krishna, please, I mean, if that person is behaving in such a bad manner, please do something for that. Your prayers will get answered. It's a matter of, just praying hard, praying hard, praying hard, like that. And by praying to Krishna, and that this is how we say karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, that through the karma or through the bhakti, your karma gets dissolved. So how does through bhakti your karma get dissolved? If somebody is behaving obnoxiously to you, it is our karma coming back at us, right? And now by praying, and this is the highest level of praying, is that somebody is being obnoxious to us and we are praying for that person to the Lord, that please take care. And then you'll be so surprised that these kind of prayers get answered. And
But mostly will
in the process of
this
yeah, let me finish my sentence, Madhuri. So in this process of taking to devotional service and getting in touch with Krishna, what's happening, that person gets improved because of your prayers, and then your karma is dissolved. If you had not done that prayer, that person would have continued to be obnoxious and you would have suffered that karma. So it's a very different it's a very different approach, and it keeps you very happy. Actually, this kind of approach keeps you very happy because there is so little to think about and worry about, and it's like, oh, the only thing that I'll be thinking will be prayers for them. Now, sorry, Vidyavali Mataji, go ahead.
No, Mataji, mostly we react like that only most of the time. Is that right, Mataji?
Yes.
We would think of that prayer or just excusing for that person.
Yes.
It's very, very rare, I think.
Yes.
I don't know.
So what Vaisheshika Prabhu does, and I was just thinking about it earlier in the day today, that he has an affirmations document, which we had circulated at ISV. If somebody didn't get it, let me know. So, and he sent that to all his disciples in the VDA disciple group. So as part of his affirmations, what he does is he's got a sheet of paper where he'll write 10 things. And the first thing that he will do, among the things that he does in the morning, is to read that. So affirmation is like, okay, let me check. Am I doing this? Let me affirm. Am I doing this? Right? Affirmations. So his affirmation document, and in one of the things that is there, right? And am I doing it? Am I doing it? And one of the ways of affirmation is he has publicized his affirmation document. He has told it publicly to everybody. These are the things that I look at. This is a very good thing, because now he has to be doubly careful. If you keep your affirmations to yourself, nobody's going to know about it. So you can have a nice, a deal inside your head about, let's skip the affirmation. But you have told this affirmation to everybody, declared it publicly, right? Kanteya prati jane hi name bhakti apana chitti. Krishna says, declare it boldly. Because the moment Arjuna declares it boldly that Krishna does that, now Krishna has to do it. So in the affirmations, he wrote, one of his affirmations was, I forgive easily. It's a very powerful affirmation. Number one is to forgive itself is difficult.
That's
to say that I forgive easily.
You cannot.
Yeah. So if you can make it a habit to write down 5 affirmations for yourself, Vindhyavali Mataji, and say that, okay, I'm just going to look at that sheet of document or sheet of paper 3 times a day. In the morning to remind me, in the afternoon to check where I did that, and in the evening to check again. Right? That did I do it? And then if you didn't do it, if you failed, then prayers. Prayers can help. The Krishna Katha can help. Shrunvatam. You have to come with a desire to hear Krishna Katha. Because when you hear Krishna Katha, then it goes and does something to your heart. It purifies your heart of all these things. This is anger at others, right? And then practice. Remember, thinking, feeling, willing, and acting. There are 4 things that happen. The 3 of them happen before the action takes place, and you can stop it in the beginning. You won't be able to stop it once, but again and again, again and again. Have some goals. And maybe before you go to sleep, just think, what are the things that I did today? Were they all right? Right? Were they right things? Could I have changed some, could I have said something differently? Should I have not spoken something, right? Sometimes it's better that we would have just kept silent in some conversation during the day. So these are the things that we have to do. And that is abhyas, that is practice. Till after some time, it'll become second nature to you, right? Remember when you were learning how to ride a bicycle? You have to pick up the bicycle. You have to be very careful when you're removing it from the stand. Then you have to put your foot on this. You have to be very careful looking at it. Your hands are on the handle. Look around everybody. Then you climb, and then you are, pedaling, and you're conscious that I'm paddling like that, and it's slipping a little bit, and you're trying to, take it and bring it to the. After a few months, you don't even know. You just climb on the bicycle. You don't even know that you're driving it because it has become second nature. So these things will also become second nature to you.
I used to think about the car driving like that.
Yes,
If I leave the
autopilot.
accelerator, my foot, the car might go. Now, how can I stop?
Yeah.
In the beginning, I used to think like that.
Right.
Then I was just driving.
Right. That's second nature, autopilot. Yeah.
Autopilot.
This unconsciously competent. You become competent at driving the car, and you're not even conscious that you are competent at it. You're just doing it like second nature.
Mataji, I wanted to ask a question for a long time, but means as the classes,
8 o'clock. The 8 o'clock.
No, I did not want to ask.
Yeah, please
but
ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mataji, we mix up with so many people, like devotees and non-devotees, the family, friends, and everyone. So sometimes we see that certainly some people they stop talking, or they don't want to keep any touch or anything. So, and sometimes we say, okay, this is our relatives, it's our responsibility to inquire about them. So we keep calling and we keep talking, but they don't reciprocate. So what will be our like, should we continue like talking with them, or like no? So if we stop talking, so it will be a sin or it will be a bad karma.
Not talking to relatives is a bad karma. A relative who does not reciprocate.
Relatives or friends, those.
No.
Yeah.
No, it is not bad karma. As long as they are not responding, so you make a conscious decision that they are not responding, so talking to them is a waste of time. But don't be angry. Don't be angry at them, because the anger is a bad emotion. And or you can become a neutral party. You can just go and say karmanneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So it says you have a right to perform your duty, but not look at the results. The moment you look at the results, then you are in trouble. So if you're thinking this is my duty to call my great grandma, so call her, right? And just call her, and if she responds or not doesn't respond, if the people put it down, then that's fine. And so if they are constantly putting the phone down on you, then you can also reduce the frequency from every week to once a month, to once a year, to once 5 years, to once in 10 years, to once in 20 years, right? Like that. So don't take it to heart. Your real dharma is devotional service.
Yeah, Mataji, that's what I just wanted to know. Means
Yeah. Relatives are provided to give trouble. I have my relative watching me. My sister is online, but she doesn't give trouble. She's very sweet. Yeah, but I'm just saying that yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I mean,
sometimes this happens, but we you tried your thing, and then that's all they will.
Yeah, that's all.
They don't reciprocate.
She is over sweet.
Yeah, and the more
sister is over sweet.
The more you go out.
Thank you. You always tell that to me.
Yeah. So Tapa Mataji is overthinking. And this is what exactly Arjuna was doing in the first chapter, right? What will happen? This is my uncle, this is my aunt.
Mataji, I just wanted to cautious that from my part, there should not be any anything that I'm doing wrong.
Yes. And then so if you want to talk to them, but just don't get upset. And then also, don't go with a malice. Don't harbor anything in your heart. If you harbor a resentment in your heart that they did not
wait for your fruitive results. Don't wait for fruitive results.
Right. So don't
just do your duty.
Yeah, don't keep that resentment in your heart. Don't keep the resentment in your heart, because that resentment is just going to poison you
Yeah.
because it's in your heart. Other people might not even know about it, right? But once in a while, it's a good thing for you to inquire about them if you feel, because sometimes people are very, something could be happening in their lives. Something,
Sometimes it may not be the reason that they didn't call you. Might be something else must have happened in their side also. So some way, if we think like that, we won't feel bad.
mm,
Is
mm.
that right, Mataji?
Yeah, yeah. For example, I'm just talking about a friend, right? So some good friend lost job, was in a big position, lost his job,
Yeah.
or was caught embezzling. So there was things about him in the newspaper or wherever in the circle, right? And then you don't know about it, but you call,
Yeah.
and they will think that, oh, now she's calling. One more person to face, one more friend to face. What do I do? So, or maybe going just recently divorced, or going through a divorce. So those,
Yeah. A lot of
what
things
all
will
are
be
happening.
there.
Sick, maybe just sick or preparing for an exam. There could be so many things, or they could be plain envious of you. It could also be that. And then when you have got envious people around you, better to stay away. There's no harm in staying away. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the worst energy, I mean, the most malevolent energy, in my opinion, is envy. I mean, you can literally feel it. It's palpable. It's almost tangible. It's like somebody is throwing a thunderbolt at you. It's and I think that can really, really cut a person.
Yes, that can really cut a person. And I'm just going to bring a verse from our database, chapter number 9. So I just want to let you know that Aruni Mataji, your opinion is shared by Krishna also. Whose turn is it to read?
Mine.
I think
Well,
I,
I don't know. I was reading.
the
I
way
don't know.
you put it, Shraddha Mataji, uh, that's kind of funny. That Krishna shares my opinion. I think it's the other way around.
I'm glad you corrected it.
Yeah.
As you become more well versed in Shastra, right? As you become more well versed in Shastra, your style of speaking will also change. Instead of saying it is my opinion, you will immediately say Prabhupada says that or Krishna says that, like that. So that change will happen. But good, let's see. Jokes apart, let's go here and let's read this verse. It's a very powerful verse.
I don't
Vindhyavati.
know. Shall I go ahead or somebody
Yes,
else will
please.
read?
I think it's your turn, so go ahead.
Sri Bhagwan Uvacha Idam Tute Guhya Tamam Pravakshyami Anusuyave Anasuyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajnatva Mokshaye Subhat
Right.
Asubhat.
All right. Translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence.
Right. So you see, we have to come to that particular level of being non-envious. And envy of Krishna is also exhibited as envy towards your Krishna's children, which is other people around us. Right. So and then because Arjuna is non-envious, so Krishna has agreed to give him what? What is the name of chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita?
Most
Most
confidential
confidential
knowledge.
knowledge.
See? Most confidential knowledge. So we were talking about Brahman and material energy. And so you had a question, Sutapa Mataji, and I hope we answered that.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for patiently waiting for weeks altogether. Good. All right. So let's go further. Uh, Vindhyavali Mataji was reading at some point in time.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
it's my turn now, I think.
Aruni Mataji's turn? Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm here. Here.
Wait, aren't I reading from the beginning of purpose?
No, when a living entity, Mataji,
Okay.
the top. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she was reading it and I was stopping her at every sentence to
Oh,
elaborate.
she read the other translation, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, when a
Go ahead,
living.
Mataji. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. So,
Okay.
so Aruni Mataji, we were reading 14.27.
Oh, I see.
And then we were doing it sentence by sentence, and then Sutapa Mataji asked a question which took us to 9.1.
Okay, okay,
Right, so I just wanted to tell the translation so that you know that that's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where envy is, covered.
okay.
Now, Bhagavad Gita, sorry. And now we have come back to where we were.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead, you want to read, you can go ahead, Mataji.
Wait, it is my turn, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Mataji
go
just
ahead.
I mean,
Yeah, go
Sutapa
ahead.
just read. When a living entity conditioned by this material nature begins the cultivation of spiritual knowledge, he elevates himself from the position of material existence and gradually rises up to the Brahman conception of the Supreme. This attainment of the Brahman conception of life is the first stage in self-realization. At this stage, the Brahman realized person is transcendental to the material position, but he is not actually perfect in Brahman realization. If he wants, he can continue to stay in the Brahman position and then gradually rise up to Paramatma realization, and then to the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many examples of this in Vedic literature. The four Kumaras were situated first in the impersonal Brahman conception of truth, but then they gradually rose to the platform of devotional service. One who cannot elevate himself beyond the impersonal conception of Brahman runs the risk of falling down. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that although a person may rise to the stage of impersonal Brahman without going further, with no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not perfectly clear. Therefore, in spite of being raised, can you scroll up, please, Shraddha Mataji?
Yeah.
Therefore, in spite, I lost it. Where
This.
is it? Therefore, in spite of being raised to the Brahman platform, there is the chance of falling down if one is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Vedic language, it is also said, Raso vai saha rasam hyevayatam labdvanandi bhavati. When one understands the personality of Godhead, the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna, he actually becomes transcendently blissful. Tatitriya Upanishad. The Supreme Lord in
Taittiriya.
Taittiriya.
Taittiriya Upanishad.
The Supreme Lord is full in six opulences, and when a devotee approaches him, there is an exchange of these six opulences. The servant of the king enjoys on an almost equal level with the king. And so eternal happiness, imperishable happiness, and eternal life accompany devotional service. Therefore, realization of Brahman or eternity or imperishability is included in devotional service. This is already possessed by a person who's engaged in devotional service.
Okay. So we'll stop over
Chittama-
here. Yeah. Yeah. And before Chitta Mataji goes to the next one, I just wanted to bring up a few things from here. And so this is the word tiriya.
Taitri-
Tiriya. It is not
Taittiriya.
triya. It is not triya. It is not.
Taittiriya.
No,
Tiriya.
Mataji.
Tiriya.
It is not triya. Right?
Tiriya.
No, it is not three. There is no TRI over there. That's what I'm trying to
Taittiriya.
say. Yeah.
Tiriya.
Taittiriya. Taittiriya.
Taitiriya. Yeah. Taitiriya. And I'll tell you what Taitiriya is. Now, for those of you from a Hindi speaking background, Varshana Mataji, what is Titar?
Is a bird, Mataji.
Yes, Titar is a bird, right? So this Upanishad has got to do with the Titar bird. For those of you who know English, then Titar is the bird called partridge, right? The partridge bird is Titar. So I don't remember the whole story with the names, etc., but I can give you the essence and story we can do at some other time when I do some research. So it was that, when this Upanishadic information was being imparted by the teacher to the students, some undeserving students, now this is something mind-boggling for you to understand. But remember, in the transcendental realm, different things happen. So some undeserving students got that knowledge from the teacher. So when the teacher found out, so there were say 100 students in the class, 50 were good, 50 were bad. So the bad ones or the undeserving ones got that information somehow or the other. And so when the teacher was there, teacher was angry at them. So teacher said, return my knowledge. So they had to vomit all the knowledge out. Now you might not understand how that you can vomit it out, right? How can I vomit out my knowledge? So they vomited it out. But this was all beautiful knowledge from the Upanishads that they had vomited it out. So the other 50 students, what they did was they immediately became the partridge bird and they ate all that vomit. Because as a human being in the human body, you won't be willing to eat somebody else's vomit, right? But as a bird, you can do that. So they got converted into this bird called Titar, and they got all that knowledge and then they converted back into human form. You know, yogis can do that. So they did it. So then that piece of knowledge is now called the Tiriya Upanishad. Right? So there is no Triya over there. This is the bird
Taittiriya, Taittiriya.
Tiriya Upanishad. Right? So that is one thing. And then here there was such a nice information that was given about um, he was saying this was very very nice as here. Uh, the attainment of Brahman conception is the first stage in self-realization, right? To realize that, you know, self and then the Lord and the relationship of the self with the Lord, right? Even when you're realizing the Brahman or the effulgence of the Lord, sometimes we still use the term self-realization because after in that process you're understanding your relationship with that. So in order to even understand yourself completely, like there's one thing, one level is that you understand I'm the soul, I'm not the body. But then what? You're a soul, then what? Okay, now you have a relationship with the Lord. So you have to try to understand that relationship, right? So that is also sometimes here, Prabhupada refers to that as self-realization. This is the first stage, right? And then, so here it says that this is the first stage in self-realization. And at this stage, the Brahman realized person is transcendental to the material position, but he's not actually perfect in the Brahman realization. And I'm hearing some noises from the background. Let me mute a few lines and see if it goes away. So at this stage, the Brahman realized person is transcendental to the material position, but he's not yet perfect in the Brahman realization. If he wants, he can continue to stay in the Brahman position and then gradually rise up to the Paramatma realization and then to the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdate. So he's going through that route. And he said there are many examples of this in the Vedic literature. The four Kumaras were first situated in the impersonal Brahman conception of truth. So they were impersonalists, those cute little four boys, you know, the four Kumaras. Have you seen their pictures? Unmute yourself and tell me.
Yes, Mataji, we have seen.
You've seen the pictures, right? So did you know that
Yes.
they were first impersonalists? They were impersonalists in the beginning.
Yes, yes, Mataji, they were Brahma's sons.
They were Brahma's sons. But Brahma is not an impersonalist, but his sons were impersonalists, right? And they did not believe in the personality of Godhead. But then something happened to them, and that is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me go there. Veda base. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. It comes in here. Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's look at canto number 3 and 15, I think. Let's see what is chapter 15. Description of the kingdom of the God. Yeah. 15 and then 43. I must be 43. Must have looked at it earlier. Yeah. Whose turn is it?
It's my turn, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead, Chitrantaji.
Should I read the Sanskrit verse also? Okay.
Yes, please. Tasyara
Aravinda
yeah, that's the tune. Tasyara
Ravindanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Swaviverana Reda Chakaratesham Sangshobam Akshara Chusham Api Chitta Tanvoha.
Tanvoho. Very nice. Tasyara Vindanayasya Padaravinda. Okay, now what does it say in the translation? Who's next in line? Who wants to read? We forgot.
Hare Krishna.
Varshana Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. 1 minute, Mataji. Yes, 1 second. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Purport?
Nice.
It appears from this verse that the four Kumaras were impersonalist or protagonist of the philosophy of monism, becoming one with the Lord. But as soon as they saw the Lord's features, their minds change. In other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental feature of the Lord. Because of the fragrance of this lotus feet carried by the air and mixed with the aroma of tulsi, their minds changed. Instead of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, they thought it is wise to be devotees. Becoming a servitor of the lotus feet of the Lord is better than becoming one with the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautifully described.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, and the music is the word is very musical. Yeah. Okay, good. So back again to 27, and then whose turn was it to read?
Now Vindhyavali Mataji's turn.
Vindhyavali Mataji. I had muted you because there was some background noise
Yeah.
coming. Yeah, go ahead.
Where am I? The living entity? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
The living entity, although Brahman by nature has the desire to lord it over the material world, and due to this, he falls down in his constitutional position. A living entity is above the three modes of material nature, but association with material nature entangles him in the different modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Due to the association of these three modes, his desire to dominate the material world is there. By engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, he is immediately situated in the transcendental position, and his unlawful desire to control material nature is removed.
Yeah, so let's
Therefore,
just stop. Yeah, let's just stop over here. Therefore, so I just wanted to bring this back up here. So he's saying that the living entity is above the three modes of material nature, and so Aruni, that's why you remember you were talking about inferior and superior, but it is Lord's energy. So I was saying that there are different ways in which you can look at the concept of inferiority and superiority. So here they are talking about it's above the different modes because there's more that the living entity can do than what the matter can do to them. Yeah. Please continue. Therefore,
Therefore, the process of devotional service, beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering, the prescribed 9 methods of realization devotional service should be practiced in the association of devotees. Gradually, by such association, by the influence of the spiritual master, one's material desire to dominate is removed, and one becomes firmly situated in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This method is prescribed from the 22nd to the last verse of this chapter. Devotional service to the Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord, should eat the remnants of foodstuff offered to the deity, smell the flowers offered to the Lord, his reciprocation of love with his devotees, chant always transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and observe the fasting days commemorating the appearance and disappearance of the Lord and his devotees. By following such a process, one becomes completely detached from all material activities. One who can thus situate himself in the Brahma Jyoti or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So going back again a little, few sentences back, this is by engagement in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, he is immediately situated in transcendental position. So what does it mean by
Process.
immediately?
Uh,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, by engagement in devotional service, whenever we serve the Lord in any way, our thoughts, mind, activities, everything goes in His remembrance. So we get situated in that position.
position.
So how come we are not situated right now? Transcendence. My knee is hurting.
Mataji, even
Mataji.
But we are doing devotional service, right? We are discussing Krishna Katha.
Yeah, but it's not
yes, yes, Mataji.
But
Mind-
you don't
mind-
feel
Mataji,
that much.
One at a time. Yeah. Aruni started with a but. So I
anything,
want to hear.
yes.
No, I said that it's not total, it's not complete. It's
Yeah.
the mind wanders.
Yes. Yes. Very good. He's scrutinizingly reading Prabhupada's books. What did he say? Prabhupada, what did he say there? What is the word that made you think that it is not complete? And you're right. Ours is not complete. What is talking about completeness there? Which word is indicating some sort of a completeness there?
In full Krishna consciousness.
Full, exactly, in full Krishna consciousness, right? So your devotional service is not complete, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the moment it becomes full, then you are immediately transcendental. That's what he's saying. For example, that if you're standing in a swimming pool, okay, and Vindhyavali Mataji, if you can mute yourself because there's some sound that is coming that's being recorded here, right? So, and when you want to speak, just unmute yourself and speak. So suppose you're standing in the middle of a swimming pool and it's an empty swimming pool, and then they start filling water in it. Okay, so the water is up to your ankles. Have you drowned in water? Yes or no?
No,
No.
not yet.
Okay, then we start pulling more water, more water, more water, comes to your knees, comes to your waist, comes to your neck, then comes to the upper part of your lip, above the nose. Are you drowned yet?
To some extent, Mataji.
Some extent? Okay. Then
Not fully.
it goes up.
Drown cannot be some extent. You're either drowning or you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, you're drowning, right? But when it goes above the head, then
Yes.
you're drowned, right? You're under,
Drowned.
right? Let's assume that you're not allowed to do anything, swim or get out of it. So you're completely drowned. So that is what it is, that you are not drowned before. Yeah. But when you reach, so similarly, up until you have, so you are doing Krishna consciousness, but you're not transcendental. To become transcendental, it has to become full, like that. And when it becomes full, then you say, right, take a glass of water and you start pouring water. Is it a glass which is full? No, it is not full. So when you call it a full glass of water, when it's really filled to the brim with all this. So similarly here in Krishna consciousness, when you come to that level, so be careful of the fine words which are written over here that we have to follow, to that extent of Krishna consciousness. But relief will come immediately. Relief starts coming immediately. For example, if a person is a non-believer, is suffering a lot, misery, is angry, this and that, and then some sage comes and tells him something very nice, and he says, you know what? If you pray to Krishna, if you pray to God, then he will help you get out of your miserable position. And the moment he agrees or believes in that, his relief starts immediately. Immediately from that lamentation that he was in, between the frustration that he was in, now hope has come. And hope gives you a lot of relief in life. Right? Hope is what allows you to tackle with the present, focusing on something which is in the future. Right? So there's a hope. So immediately, sometimes you'll see that immediately things are going to happen, they will happen. But when it comes to things like that, that I'm situated in a transcendental position, so that will take some time, therefore, to come here. And then devotional service is very simple, and it went on and talking about how you do devotional service. Okay. So that does ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports, the 14.27. So Khyati Mataji, thank you for bringing this up. You brought it up, right? 14.27. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari.
I am leaving.
Ah,
And tomorrow morning I'll join.
well, tomorrow morning we're not going to have a class. Yeah, you were not there yesterday, so we said because Vaisheshika Prabhu is giving a talk and Live to Give, which is for book distribution, and this is the last month, and we're all striving very, very hard to distribute as much as we can books. And so he's encouraging everybody around the world. So he'll be there, and a couple of other luminaries will also be there on the call. I'll be able to attend only half of it because I have a class to go to, right? So the class starts at 6:25 a.m. our time, and I'll post the poster on WhatsApp group for those of you who are interested in joining. I'll be able to attend only a part of his class, and then I have to listen.
Mataji, today also we had that one, I tried to, and I came to your class again. I don't know what happened.
Because you didn't read. Because you didn't read. For
So,
his
Huh.
class, it
Mataji,
was
I'm leaving and thank you
thank
so
you.
much for your
Thank
wonderful
you.
class. So,
Thank
thank
Very
you.
you, all
good.
the
Thank you.
devotees. Hari Bol.
Hare
Have a
Krishna.
nice day.
Yeah, yeah. So Vindhyavali, if you read it carefully, for his lecture on Live to Give, it was a different Zoom number that was given there.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't find that one. I don't know what happened to me. That Zoom number.
Yeah.
That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, not that one. Password.
Mm.
I don't know. I tried you today, 5:30.
Can I just interject with one question? I'm just saying it so that I don't forget. At the end of the class, if you have time, I just want to ask something. And I think I vaguely remember you mentioned it in a previous class. I just want to clarify
Yeah,
that even if
this is the
if
one.
you feel the anger of the Lord, um, is that a blessing?
It is a blessing of some sort, and we can talk about that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, in a vision. Yeah, I want. Yeah, I'll ask you later.
Yeah. Yeah. Better than, like,
But
like our parents love you, but which is better? The love of the parent in the lovey-dovey, cozy way that they take care of you, or the anger? Yeah. They're still your parent. So anger is there. There's still anger from the parent might give you something good, right? But it's not a desirable thing that we should be on that side of Krishna, that he gets angry at us.
But I mean, I there's something more specific than that I'll ask you later.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. So here, this is the one that I'm going to post
Yes, Mataji.
on your
Thank you,
WhatsApp
Mataji.
group, right?
Thank you.
So whenever these things come, these are
I
announcements.
have.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah.
These are announcements for your Guru Maharaj. So
Okay, sure.
you have to read them very carefully. Right? Every
Okay.
time, right? You knew December 13th something is starting. You would have read that what time it is started. You read what topic it is, but you don't read this part. Right? It has to be read. It's right there. So you can't say
I
it's like,
think so. These two I did, 12th and 13th I did.
yeah. So it's scrutinizingly reading. It starts from here. Okay. So I'll post it on the WhatsApp group that we have, and then we can take it from there, right? And what is that WhatsApp group? You can just join here. Send Mateo.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. So there you
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back. I don't want to have my WhatsApp there. Okay. So then should we go to our favorite topic? Brahma Samhita?
Mm-hmm. Let me get a book. What my book?
Which turn is it to read?
Yes. Okay.
So Vindhyavali Mataji, I think it is your headsets. When you move the headsets, we hear some sound like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So especially if you are putting on your headset, and this is for both you and Varshana Mataji, because you two use headsets or devices like that. So what you should do also when you are entering Zoom, the Zoom call, you should always enter in the mute mode, right? Because you don't know that you have already joined and you are setting your headsets and you're moving things around here and there, and we hear a very jarring noise. And we could be having a conversation and that gets disrupted, or even teaching a class and that gets disrupted, right? So be very cognizant of the device that you have in your hand, right? So don't move, don't adjust on the head and all that. And if you have to adjust, just go on mute, and then you can do all the adjustment. Similarly, if you have to move around in your room, then switch off the video, right? Switch off the video and then move around, because those who are watching this, then they will get distracted by movements there on the screen. And Zoom is very crazy. Somebody could be speaking and somebody could be talking, and the moment it sees, oh, somebody else has started moving, then it'll start showing that person on the screen, thinking, oh wow, this person is saying something. So Zoom has got some very crazy logic in the way that it operates like that. So that's why you see in the ISB classes, when it comes to singing and musical instruments and all that kind of stuff, they use jamulas, which is a more sophisticated and a expensive instrument to use over there. And that's why when we are there, if two individuals speak at the same time, four speak at the same time, it becomes a right on Zoom. nobody can hear anything at all. So it's better to, one at a time. And I really like what Varshana Mataji does. She always raises her hand when she has to speak so that I can catch, because I'm looking at the console all the time. So I can know that, okay, somebody wants to ask a question and I give her the time. The moment everybody speaks, then Zoom goes crazy because I'm like, oh, Vindhyavali is saying something. Oh, I heard Varshana's thing. So let me see, let me tune to this. So what happens is I hear one word from you and then one word from Varshana, then one word from Priyanka. Like that, it'll keep on moving like that. And I'll hear nothing in the end, right? So I think queuing mechanism is good. You cue yourself, be cognizant of your devices, let us not have noise in the class. And also the last thing that happens is that I lose my train of thoughts because this Krishna Katha is not coming from me, it comes from Krishna. So I have to tune myself constantly to see what he wants, right, to come out. So that's the reason it disturbs me. All right. So now whose turn is it to read this long verse?
It was Sutappa Mataji, so I think it is Aruni Mataji's turn.
Aruni Mataji, give us this long verse. Sanskrit.
Sorry, the Sanskrit verse, is it?
Yes.
Tad kinjalkam tad amshanam tad patrani sriyamapi.
Yamapi. Okay. So in Brahma Samhita, you will find this going on, that one verse will be like 6 lines long, one will be 4, one will be 2, another will be 8, like that. So it is, it's not equally composed. And so now we'll wait here and we'll ask this question, that what have we been talking about all these weeks in Brahma Samhita? What exactly have been focusing on? And I want 1 or 2 word answer. I don't want a thesis, right? In 1 or 2 words, if you can tell me, what have we been reading about in the last few weeks? Let's narrow down to that. Last few weeks. 1 or 2 words only.
If you want a one-word answer, it's very easy.
I want 2. Give it a try. Embellish it a little bit more with 1 more word. Okay, Vashana Balaji raised her hand.
They predominated and predominating.
Okay. So this verse has been talking about predominated and predominated. So all these weeks, what have we been talking about? Predominated and predominating.
Lord Krishna is predominating and Srimati Radharani is predominating.
Okay. All right. What have we been talking about? One more time. This is one of the things that we talked about, right? But what is the main thing that we are talking about in the last few verses?
Hexagonal figure matter.
And what is that figure describing?
The abode of Krishna.
Abode of Krishna. That's what I said, 2 or 3 words. Isn't it? That's what we are describing. It looks like a lotus, right? It's a hexagonal figure. And then inside is the predominating and the predominating, but we are really describing the abode of Krishna. And that's what Brahma Samhita does. And that's why we say that our scriptures are so powerful that, not only do we talk about God, we even tell you where he lives. Then we even describe where he lives. The kingdom of God. This is how it is, right? So let's go back because we have to get it right in our heads. See, the spiritual place of transcendental pastimes of Krishna is portrayed in the second verse. The world of the transcendental lotus is the realm wherein dwells Krishna, right? The world of that eternal realm, Golbika, is the hexagonal abode of Krishna, right? So you picked up the word hexagonal, right? But abode is what you missed, Varshana Mataji. You were talking about the abode of Krishna, right? Like that. Okay.
Correct, Mother.
Yeah, there you go. So, number 5. Now it says the world. Now here you see that you will. Now here I'm going to say something that you're not going to like, and that is, let's look at the verse from here that we were doing. Let's bring this verse up, right? Let me see if this was there or not. Okay. I don't think what I'm looking at is in this particular verse. Um, okay, let me see if I can bring you something from Brahma Samhita, from Srimad Bhagavatam. SP 1.8, search like that, 8.1, and yeah. Okay, whose turn is it to read?
Chitra Mataji.
Chitra Mataji. She's lucky on verses today. Okay. Namaha Pankaja.
Namaha Pankajanaಭaya, Namaha Pankajam Madini, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajam Grayaye.
Angry hai. Okay, now next
Ye.
person can give us the translation. Who's
Hare
next?
Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with the depression like the lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Hare Krishna.
So you will see this is prayers of Kunti Maharani. So you will see that the lotus is used a lot of times, right? In sometimes it's very specific. For example, he said Nama Pankaj Angrihe. So Nama Pankaj Angrihe means that there is a marking of lotus on his feet. Okay, but then we also define Krishna's feet as lotus feet, right? Do
Yeah.
we refer to his feet as
Yes.
lotus feet, right? Don't we say lotus feet of the Lord? And then we also say lotus hands.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a lotus flower, how does it look like?
It's got
Yeah.
many petals, it's round. I think the main significance is that it's in the water, but it does not, it's on the water, but it's not in the water. The
Oh,
water does not enter it, even though it's in the water.
right.
So I think that's the significance where you're above everything.
Yeah, for the lotus leaf, the leaf of the lotus, right? So it stays there, and yeah. Uh, so when we talk about lotus hand and lotus feet, and then we say God looks like us, right? So Lord's hands will also be like this, right? Or is this a lotus? Does it look like anywhere like a lotus? Right?
No.
But Krishna is always shown with hands like this. You don't show a pink color lotus in front of his hands, right? Like a green stem coming here, and then there is a pink flower, and that are his hands, right? His hands are like that. So we have to see that this is a poetic way of describing things. So how a lotus has got petals like that arranged, and then I can put my hands like that, so they can look like a lotus. I can do various things to my hands that looks like a lotus, but they are not like lotus like that. So just a simile, a way of describing and comparing and saying that it is beautiful. Right? So whenever things are arranged in a petal like a manner, then they are saying it is like a lotus. It doesn't mean necessarily that it is actually a lotus and with that texture and that color and things like that. you know I could have an island which is surrounded by mountain peaks like that. Many mountains are like that. I can say it looks like a lotus. Why? Because lotus is like that. It's something in the middle, and then there are petals all around it. So remember that thing in your mind, that when we are defining the abode of Krishna, it's not necessarily that it's like a lotus, right? And you look at this picture of Goloka, there it's from the top you can say that, okay, from here this is the general structure. It's not exactly looking like a lotus. So they'll say that. So similarly here also, when they are describing the Brahma Samhita, they are describing his abode to be like a lotus, the world of the lotus. So the arrangement is like that there is in the middle, there is uh, bigger space. Like in the lotus you have a bigger space in the middle, right? And then on the corners and the sides of it, there are layers and layers and layers of petal like things. So here also in the abode, they'll be situated like that. Okay.
But
Now
I
let's see. Yeah, sorry.
ask, yeah, I was just going to ask about that. I mean, besides the lotus, that I seem to hear a lot of reference to things that are shaped in a circular fashion, like walls and this circular, this idea of a circle or some kind of circular shape is, it seems to be very predominant in all the readings, and I'm wondering if it has a special spiritual significance.
This is just a way of describing. They describe everything in terms of a lotus. Like they also described him as lotus-eyed, right?
I mean, not just lotus, there are other things like the hexagonal. I mean, that's not exactly a circle, but it's still many shaped rather than like square or rectangle or whatever.
Yeah. So because it's an abode, so they have to delineate, like, they have to demarcate it. So the demarcation can be like, here's a circle, demarcates everything outside is not my abode, or actually it is not even that. They're saying it's like a hexagon, but it's still a closed figure, right? So we have closed and open figures, right? Closed curves and open curves. So they're talking about this is closed. That is well defined, that this is what it is inside it. This is what his abode is. And so yes, they will do that. And so when it means a circle, it's not necessarily that you took a compass and you drew a circle around it. In general, if the pattern is like that there is something enclosing, they will call it as a circle.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just thinking of also, in the Hindu tradition, we do what we call the kolam or the rangoli, and even then, when you have a lot of shapes, it always it's in a maybe not a perfect sphere or a circle, but it's in a circular kind of shape. So, and even the Sri Chakra, it's not a circle, but it's in that general, like a lotus, like many divisions. And so I'm just wondering that must have some kind of spiritual, maybe it's mathematically spiritual.
Yes.
Chakra has.
Yes. I mean, these designs have a particular, like yantras and all, they have a significance. Yeah, the way you draw the shape has a particular significance to that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that everything seems to be tends to be circular rather than angular.
Not necessarily. Actually, I was just talking about that the other day. Who was I talking to? I was giving a talk for Salesforce people, and so I was telling them about how I was glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedic literature, and I said that how mathematics started from India, and Indians knew a lot of mathematics actually, and so what was the reason? Why did the Indians were good in mathematics, or still are good in mathematics? Why was it like that? Why did it have to do that? And the connection goes back to because they had a Vedic civilization. Vedic civilization basically means that we are thinking, we know there is a soul, and we also believe in God. And so there's a Vedic civilization where there's a God, so you're supposed to do certain things for the God. And so when you are doing the yajnas in your home, then at that time you are supposed to do the yajnas in some yajna pit, what is that called? Kund, the Havan Kund, right? Yajna pit, as they call it in English. So the Havan Kund had to be of 3 shapes. One was supposed to be circular, of course, no surprises there. Aruni Mataji, circle again, right? The second one was supposed to be a square, and the third one was supposed to be a triangle. And all the 3 yagya kunda, yagya pits were supposed to have the same area. So area of a square is easy to find out, but how do you find out the area of a triangle? So you have to rake your mathematical brains to come out with a formula for that. And then the third one was that you need to find out the area of a circle. How do I find out the area of a circle? And that's how the concept of pi, 22/7, that figure, the concept of pi came into picture, like that. So a lot of things, lot of these mathematical equations and mathematical symbols actually relate to Krishna, like the number 1 cannot be divided. Those who have done algebra and trigonometry, cell subset, right? And then superset, and then the universal set. So Krishna and all his creation is the universal set. So there's a lot of things that are there in our culture which relate to that. So there will be, but yes, I mean, to a certain extent, you might say that round is good. Like, you put the bindi, it is round, and, you make a bun, it is round, and things like that. So they do that. But yeah, figures have their own significance, and depending on where they have to be used, they will get used there. So coming back to our topic here, so I'm saying that they are describing the abode of Krishna. So don't lose track of that we are describing the abode of Krishna. And
see, here also it says the world that is also
circle. Yeah. And like I said, you have to define that, because this is where he lives, and then I have to share there is an outside. Yes. So yes, plus 1 point to the circular, the circle bucket. You have one vote cast there, that they are defining that as a circle. Yeah. So whose turn is it to read?
My turn, Mataji.
Okay, Khyati.
Um, purport, right?
No, no, no. I don't think we did. Did we?
Mataji, I did not read, Mataji.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have to tell you something between can and may. The difference between can.
May, yes. May I read? May I read?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Rachana.
So from translation,
Yes.
may I start with
Yeah, give us
the translation?
Yes, yes, yes. Give us a translation one more time.
The world of that eternal realm, Gokul, is the hexagonal abode of Krishna. Its petals are the abodes of gopis who are part and parcel of Krishna, to whom they are most lovingly devoted. To whom they, sorry, Mataji, the phone call came. The world of that eternal realm, Gokul, is the hexagonal abode Krishna. Its petals are the abodes of gopis who are parts and parcel of Krishna, to whom they are most lovingly devoted and are similar in essence. The petals shine beautifully like so many walls. The extended leaves of that lotus are garden-like dham, for example, spiritual abode of Shri Radhika and most beloved of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. So the IE there doesn't mean for example. The IE is actually that is. Right? So you're saying the extended leaves of the lotus
Okay,
are the
thank you.
garden dham. That is the spiritual abode Radhika. That is where she lives.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Purport.
What phone is that?
The transcendental Gokul is the shape like the lotus. The eternal world is like hexagonal figure. In that the entities Sri Radha Krishna appearing in the form of a mantra consisting of 18 transcendental letters are centered. The propagating manifestations emanating from the what is it,
Chit
chit
potency. Yeah.
potency are present there with the said entities as the center. Sri Radha Krishna is the primary cause or the seed himself. Gopala uh, Tapani says Omkara signifies the all powerful Gopala and his potency, and Klim is the same as Omkara. Hence, Kama Bija, or the primary cause of all love, is connotative of the entities Sri Radha Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So that was quite a mouthful, isn't it?
Explain this, Mataji, purport. Please,
Kind of.
please.
Yeah. So let's take it a little by little, right? Little by little, we'll take this up. So the transcendental Gokula is shaped like a lotus.
That's God.
So, for example, if I were to create something, a city, and in the middle of the city, I have a big, really big palace, right? And then surrounding that palace, I have one layer of homes. And then outside of that, I have another layer of homes like that, right? So I can say that it is shaped like like a lotus, because the lotus is structured like this. There's something in the middle, something surrounds it like that. Okay. So here they are saying that the transcendental Gokula is shaped like a lotus. Right?
Okay.
The eternal world, because it's eternal, it never perishes. It's a spiritual world, right? So is like a hexagonal figure. So now it is not even exactly a circle. It's more like a hexagonal. And like as Aruni was saying, that mostly there is a emphasis on circle, but over here you see that they are actually, then they're saying it's more like a hexagon. Hexagon means six-sided figure. So that lotus is somewhat like this, right? Like in this shape. And then, so in that, which means that inside that figure that you're seeing, inside that lotus, the entities Sri Radha Krishna. So the Radha Krishna are there inside it. And in which form are they? They are in the form of a mantra. And what is that mantra? 18 transcendental letters are centered. Okay. So what is that mantra that we were talking about? And how do you calculate the letters, etc.? I don't know, but I can tell you the mantra. Do you remember what mantra we were doing last time?
I think Om Klim Krishna Nama something.
Yeah, Om Kleem Kleem. The word is Kleem, right? Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijan Vallabhaya
Vallabhaya
Swaha.
Swaha.
Right? So I'm just seeing, where was it? Was it in this word? This word, right? Yeah. As for example, Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijan Vallabhaya Swaha. This is a hexagonal mantra. So you see this mantra, the shape. So every mantra has got a shape. So this mantra is like a hexagon, right? It consists of 6 transcendental words, that is Krishna, Govindaya, Gopijan, Vallabhaya Swaha. But before that, there is Kleem. The word Kleem is there. So this is known as the beej of the mantra, the seed of the mantra, which basically means that if I just say Kleem, 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 and focus on Radha and Krishna, then I will achieve same results as Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijan, Vallabhaya Swaha. The seed mantra does the same thing, like that there, right? So here's what we talked about. And now let's go to our verse of today, which is text number 4 that we're trying to do. Okay. So here it says, consisting of 18,000 letters, they are stationed over here. So Krishna and Radha are there in the form of a mantra. The propagating manifestations emitting from the Chit potency are present there with the said entities as the center. So then they are saying that, the said entities, what is the meaning of said entities? Said entities means that what I have already talked about before, and which is in the previous line, I have talked about Sri Radha and Krishna as the entities, the 2 entities. So here they are saying that from there, from that place where they are, the propagating manifestations emanating. So there are certain things which are emanating from that center of the Golok, right? And actually Krishna is, we said, what was the first verse in Brahma Samhita that we read? First verse of Brahma Samhita.
Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana.
Right. So what is the last line?
Sarvakarana Karana.
What does that mean?
All the times and then all the reasons, is that Sarvakarana Karana.
He's the cause of all causes.
He's cause of all
Cause
causes.
of all causes, right? And the same thing is coming over here, that they are saying that Krishna and Radha is not different from Krishna. Radha is just his energy is called Radha, right? So there's Krishna, his energy is called Radha. So he's saying that, these entities, Sri Krishna and Radha. Now let's go to this question again, the propagating manifestation emanating, right? So there are some manifestations, whatever manifestations happening, whatever are emanating from this, right? Because of the Chit potency. So there are 3 potencies of Krishna, Sat, Chit, and Anand. I mean, there are many energies of Krishna, but we focus on Sat, Chit, and Anand. So the Sat potency of Krishna is that leads to eternality. And Chit is from which you get your knowledge and cognition and things like that. And Anand is the bliss. Right? He's talking about that from the Chit potency, right? Whatever emanations are there, right? So the propagating manifestations emanating from the Chit potency are present there with the said entities as the center. So whatever is propagating out of him are present there in that area called Goloka, right? They are there with, but who is in the center? Whatever is emanating from there is fine, but who is in the center? In the center there is
Radha Krishna.
right? And then Radha Krishna, as a center. Sri Radha Krishna is the primary cause or the seed himself. And as Vindhyavali Mataji said, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the center of everything. Then Gopal Tapani Upanishad says that Omkara signifies the powerful Gopal. So that Laddu Gopal that Khyati Mataji got, right? So he's saying that Omkara. Omkara means Om.
Yeah.
This one, right? So this the sound, this Omkara, is actually the primary cause or the seed himself. So he's saying there's no difference between Krishna and Om. Right? So that's why you'll see that in the Vedas, everything starts with the um,
Omkara.
everything starts with the word Om
Omkara.
at the
Om.
beginning, right? And then Varshana Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, claim Omkar and Shri Radha Krishna is the same, meaning is same.
Yes, and I haven't come.
Claim is the
Yeah,
seed.
yeah, I haven't come yet there. I'm still focusing on the Omkara, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so stay with us. Okay, so Gopal Tampani Upanishad says Omkara signifies the all-powerful Gopal, which is another name for Krishna, right? And his potency. So you see what is there in Om? In the Om, Radha is also there in the Om. And which is no a no-brainer because Radha is his energy. So why would she not be there? Right? Wherever there is Krishna, Radha will always be there because he's energy. He's energy. Right? So he's saying that Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Omkara signifies the all-powerful Gopal and his potency, which is Radha. And Kleem is the same as Omkara now, Varshana Mataji, right? He is saying this one. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes,
If
Mataji.
you're not speaking, then mute yourself because if you're even moving your head, I'm getting a jarring sound here on my ear. Something is going on there with the headset. Okay, so she Radha Krishna is signifies and Kleem is the same as Omkara. So now you see the verse that we read previously, the shloka that we read, the mantra that we read previously started with Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijan Vallabhaya Swaha, right? Whereas you say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, right? So some verses you start with Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Vareniyam, right? So some mantras you start with Om, some you start with Kleem, right? And whether you'll use Om or whether you'll use Kleem depends on the mantra itself because the mantra will have its significance depending on the, remember last week we said juxtaposition of the words, right? One of you had asked this question, what does it mean juxtaposition? And my answer was how they are placed next to each other, right? So juxtaposition, depending on the way they are positioned right next to each other. So similarly here also, if I'm going to use this word, there is balance, there is meter, there is, all kinds of weightage that you have to give before you can come up with a mantra. So sometimes the mantras will have the word Kleem in the beginning, but it's the same as Omkara, right? So then he's saying, hence Kama Bija. So what was Kama Bija? Kama Bija is claim, the beej, right? So he's saying the beej of the Kama mantra. The mantra is Kama. Kama is desire. And what does that give? That is something that you will get from the previous verse that we did last week. And what was that? Let's see here. Right? Claim Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijan, Vallabhaya, Swaha, right? So this is what you're getting Kama Bija. You want to achieve that level. You're reciting this mantra. What you're saying, clean. Okay, that's a seed that covers everything. Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijan. So Krishna is there, right? Krishnaya, Govindaya, Krishna, who is also known as Govinda, and Gopijan Vallabhaya Swaha. So Gopijan Vallabhaya. He is the dear of the gopis. Swaha. So let me offer myself to him. Whom? To the Krishna who is the Gopijan Vallabhaya, lover of the gopis. So Kama, right? Kama comes from love. So this particular, when you are reciting and chanting this particular mantra, then you are actually asking for love of God. Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijan Vallabhaya Swaha. So now in our words here, if we go to number 4, today's words, then the last sentence is saying, Hence, Kama Bija, or the primary cause of all love, right, is connotative of the entities Radha and Krishna, right? So, what it means is that um, when you look at some word, right? When you look at a word, then a word is a word, but sometimes you look at a word, it can also invoke a feeling for you. That is known as connotation, right? It is a mental connotation. So sometimes some words appear to be, you know, some words convey more than what they would mean by the way they sound, and they will have a different effect on you by the way they sound, right? For example, bang. When I use the word bang, what does it sound to you? What do you get? The feeling. What is the feeling that you get? Let me give you two words and ask you for the difference. One word is bang, and the other word is smooth.
So one is onomatopoeia, where it sounds like the word sounds like the meaning that it's describing.
Right. So bang, when I say bang, it'll have a certain different, effect on you. When I say smooth, it has a different effect on you. When I say cool,
Correct.
hot.
Yes.
So a word is there, so connotation is an idea or a feeling that a particular word will invoke for a person. For example, if I say raw meat, or I say cooked meat, right? It's going to invoke a very different feeling in you as compared to somebody else, right? The same word can also give different meanings arouse different feelings in a different person, right? So in addition to its meaning, the literally meaning is, okay, there's meat, there is cooked, fine. And a devotee will say, ew, right? And a non-devotee will say, aha, my dinner, like that, right? So you look at that, and the word can invoke a feeling. Words can also invoke some feelings on you above the primary meaning or the literally meaning which is there for the words which are there, right? So
Can I just ask about this Kama Bija?
yeah, and
Isn't
so I'm just sorry. Yeah, so I'm just coming back to the Kama Bija. So then this particular Kama Bija, or the primary cause of all love, right? So when I say Kama Bija, which is Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janmalabhaya Swaha, so you know the meaning of that, but then it will also invoke some feelings for you. And what is the feeling that will invoke? Will be love for the entities Sri Radha and Krishna. That's the feeling you'll get. Okay, now let's go back to Kama Bija.
isn't Kama Sanskrit? Doesn't it mean erotic pleasure or desire?
Yes, so yes,
And so it's describing Radha and Krishna.
yes,
So that is the primary basis of all love, the erotic desire or pleasure,
it is
but at a higher level,
at
I
a
guess.
very inconceivable level, because here in the material world, like how chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita says, Urdhamulam Adha Shakam, right? So Urdhamulam, upwards are the roots, Adha Shakam, downwards are the branches of the tree, right? So this material world is topsy-turvy, it's opposite in the direction. So when something is like, remember I had told you this example of that this is a pen, this is the top part, and this is the bottom part. And if there is a reflection of this, how is the reflection going to look like? Like this, right? So whatever was on the topmost over here in the reflection is goes to the bottom part. So whatever is the topmost emotion and a way of expressing becomes the bottommost part. The topmost part in the spiritual world is parakiya bhav, when the gopis are lusting for Krishna, who is not their husband. But you come try to do this over here, you will be in jail for a right? And, spouse will divorce and ask for a fat element for adultery. So yes, you're right. That is the desire. That's the source of everything. But it's a very different thing. It's a transcendental thing which we cannot understand from our from the intellect that we have right now.
The same thing, Mataji, in Jaydeva songs, Jaydeva Ashtapadis, they say most of them, some of them, the meaning was like she said, meaning was like this, but If you think spiritually, there's entirely different meaning.
Yes.
So most of them, they say not to sing also.
Yes.
I heard the other day, Vishnugada Prabhu was saying, Srita Kamala Kucha, there was a song is there, Jayadevas. So usually it was in the book, Krishna book. But they say, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada said not to, they put by mistake and not to sing that one. But some meanings are there. They have the meaning. If you take it like a material thing, it's a very, very different meaning.
You know,
If you
I
take
don't
it spiritually, that's a different meaning.
I don't know if I entirely agree with that, whether it's different. I think it's all a reflection. The material is all a reflection of what is in the spiritual, except that it's so filtered down, so diluted that it has a different essence or nature to it. But I think the origin comes from this. I mean, even the essence of life, it's like, to reproduce, you have to have that erotic desire and love. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the human existence. But I think that the way we see it, the way we perceive it, by the time it comes down through the many layers of the spiritual and the material layers of existence, I think it acquires a different meaning. But its original source is obviously from here, right? Do you agree?
Krishna Sarva Karana Karana. True. So, can you describe in 2 sentences what we read today about how this is organized? His place of stay.
It's all in worlds. And
Okay, all in words, right?
And Krishna and Radha are at the center.
Right. Okay, I'm going to bring something up and you're going to like it. Okay, what do you say about this?
Wow, beautiful. Wow, they're having a good time.
They do.
I've seen something like this in my dreams many times, especially a couple of decades ago. All the time, I used to dream like this, except for the trees. I didn't see the trees, but I saw the rest of it in my dreams.
You're lucky. I dream of spreadsheets.
Oh my God.
Whole night I'm working on spreadsheets, especially these days, how many Bhagavad Gitas, how many Bhagavatam. Okay. So this is a beautiful poem we have done that earlier. You remember? Okay, let's finish our class with this, right? So let's read it together, one by one. Whose turn is it to read?
It is Vidyavat Mataji's turn. I read last.
Okay. Vindali Mataji, come out of mute.
Shall I sing?
Yes, please.
Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chinta Mani Rama Ratana Mandira Mano Ara Avrita Kalini Nire Rajahamsa Keli Kore Tahe Shobhe Kanaka Kamala.
Why don't you go ahead? Second verse.
Tara Madhye Himapita Astadale Beshitita Astadale Pradana Naika Tara Madhye Ratnasane Bosiya Chedui Jane Shama Sangi Sundara Radhika. This is the beautiful thing, I think. रूपलावण्य राशि हमिया परिचय काशी हसिया परिहास संभाषणी नरोत्तम दास कोए नित्य लीला सुखमोए सदै पुरुष मोर मानी.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
This one, this one is saying Mataji, the other one. They are sitting in the center, Radha Krishna.
Yes, that's why I brought this up today.
Yeah,
So let's now do the translation. Who's next in turn to read?
It's my turn, but I realized the last time is actually Vindhyavali Mataji's term. I mistook Khyati Mataji for Sutapa Mataji, and I thought it was my turn. So let me pass it on to either Vindhyavali Mataji. You can carry on reading, or the next person, because I think
I already sang. I already sang. Somebody can take the turn if anybody wants.
Yeah, no, I really thought it was my turn, but let me pass it on to since I usurped your place. Let me pass it on to the next person.
Yeah.
You are Duryodhan, huh? You
Varshana Mataji, go ahead, or Khyati Mataji, or somebody.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation. The beautiful place known as Vrindavan is a transcendental abode in the spiritual world and is composed entirely of divine touchstones. There are many enchanting temples bedded with costly jewels. The royal swans, known as Rajhams, frolic in the waters of the river Yamuna, which surrounds that transcendental island. In the midst of that divine river is a beautiful golden lotus of 100 petals. Hare Krishna.
So you see how they're describing what we are reading in the Brahma Samhita, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Who's next?
I can read, Mataji.
Yeah, Chitra Mataji's turn.
Yeah, I will. In the center of that lotus is a golden platform surrounded by 8 petals. Situated upon those 8 petals are the 8 principal Sakis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka. In the center of the surrounding petals, the divine couple presides, seated upon a jeweled throne. In the company of Lord Shyama sits the beautiful Radhika. Thank you.
Now again, it's Varshana Mataji's turn.
Khyati Mataji, you go ahead. You didn't get a chance, Mataji.
The waves of their beauty and sweetness are emanating showers of nectar in the form of their talks, which are filled with the flood of laughing and joking as they address one another. Narottama Das says, "May this eternal pastime overflowing with the transcendental joy be ever manifest in my heart."
There you go. So where will you find these words? If you want to memorize it like Vindhyavali Mataji did.
Yes, we'd like to learn.
So where will you find it? Simple answer. Simple answer.
With you, Mataji.
Well, a good try. That's a good answer.
I mean, the title of
I missed the title. Oh, Nitya Sankirtan.
Yes, you'll find it on nityasankirtan.com. nityasankirtan.com. I hope I typed it right. Here. And once you go there, where will you find it?
Prayers.
Under prayers. Okay, let's click on prayers. And under prayers, where will you find it?
8. I
Number
think.
8. Yes.
Number 8.
Alrighty. So should we call it a day now here with this nice, beautiful song sung by
Don't
Vindhya?
want to, but we have to.
Mataji, one small question can I ask, Mataji?
You can, but you may not.
Mataji, when we so sorry, Mataji. For example, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. Now, Govindai here, the Govindai is means having control over the senses. Correct? Am I right?
Govinda. Govinda gives, Rishikesh is the one who controls the senses. Govinda is one who gives pleasure to the senses,
Govinda is Gokul.
who gives pleasure to the senses. Rishikesh is the controller. Now, Vashana Mataji, for these mantras, don't even bother
Yes.
looking into the meaning of the mantra. Now, that's the beauty of the mantra, that even if you recite it without even knowing the meaning of it, you will have the effect, because mantra is all about the sound. It's not about the intellect there. So when you sit down and say Claim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijan Vallabhaya Swa, just by that sound vibrations that are going to come, that sound vibrations are going to affect you. So that's why we say we are a sonic religion. That's why we never explain to you the meaning of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You just say, you sit down and you chant and you hear, and the mantra will have its effect, right? For example, there is a medicine in a bottle, cough medicine. You drink the cough medicine, it has its effect. Whether you know the composition or not, it has its effect, right? Yes or no? Whenever a doctor gives you 2 tablets to eat,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have to first understand, well, does it have ammonia, how much of hydrogen, what molecules? No, the tablet will have its effect. Similarly with mantra also, the mantra will have its effect. This is what the mantra does, the sound does it, right? Similarly, when people curse and say you'll become a frog, so the person is in the human body, he becomes a frog immediately. He did not know how to get converted from a human being into the frog, but the effect is coming from the sound vibration that the other person did. That sound vibration is capable of converting a person from a person to a frog or a lion or a bird or whatever, right? You hear so many curses in the stories going on. So it's the mantra which is powerful, very, very powerful, the power of the mantra.
But isn't it true that if you have knowledge of the meaning and the intention behind, even a curse, that makes the curse powerful. Whereas if there's no intention, and or if you don't know the meaning, then it's
Intention is coming from the other person, right? Intention is coming from the person who's giving the curse, but the person
so
who's
that's what I'm
actually,
saying. Even the mantra, like if you know the meaning, if you just chant it from the sound vibration, it has an effect. But if you chant it with awareness and consciousness of what it means, then it has a greater effect. At least that's as far as I've been told and I know.
and so what we are doing here is we are deviating from that in terms of these mantras, because they are, if you pick up the book, you will find many meanings of this Varshana Mataji, right?
My battery is going down, Mataji.
You have read the well, that was not of consequence to say in the middle of the class that your battery is going down. You can go down, right? We can have the conversation.
I don't
So
know. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, put on mute. And then so I lost my thought now. Yeah, so what I'm
Thought
just
is
saying is
gone.
that, yeah, so what I'm just saying is that, so we were talking about the mantras, right? And the effect of the mantras. We said in the beginning itself that, the moment we start putting our intellect, we lose something in it. We lose something. Just be natural, just go with the flow, just chant the mantra. And I was telling Varshana Mataji that, this is a Gayatri mantra, and you can pick up the Gayatri book that you have, and you'll find how many meanings are there for this mantra, right? As long as you know that all that I'm trying to do is I'm chanting this mantra to Abhidev. What is the goal for this? All that I'm trying to do is to get love for Krishna. And this mantra, chanting this mantra will give me that. That much of an intention is enough. The moment we try to conquer a mantra from our intellect, then it becomes a difficult, it defeats the purpose in some cases, because it brings in a pride in ourselves that we have understood, we have mastered this mantra. So yes, intentions are required, but my intention here is that I'm just saying, similarly for Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, what do they translate? What does Prabhupada translate? He gives different translations in different contexts. He says, all that you're doing is engage me in your service. Now you tell me Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Where does it has the word service in it? It doesn't have, right? It's just got the names, right? So yeah, you have intention. So the Kama Bija is the Kama. So we are aiming for love of Godhead. Prema Pumartam Han. So we are aiming that we should get love of Godhead. And that's all, the intention in which we sit down and chant. Because that's what we want, right? Extreme. The ultimate is that's what we want. We don't have it right now. What does Govinda mean? What does it mean?
Thank you.
If you attach meanings to it and then you mess it up, Govindas means one who controls the senses or one who does that. So when you're sitting and chanting now, you'll be thinking about like, what does it mean? Did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? No. Just mantra means mantra. You have seen how Pandits come and do the puja in your home. Do you think that they are really deliberating on the meanings of those mantras? The way they go? No, because they know. Because they know that the mantra will do its thing, right? Of course, modern Pandits are thinking something else when they're chanting the mantra. That's a different thing. But as long as you do the sankalpa and then you go with the flow, then that's it. Over analysis will give you trouble like that. Yeah. But then if you need to know the meaning, yes, Govinda means one who gives pleasure
Pleasure.
senses. Senses, go means senses, and go also means cows, right?
That's,
It gives pleasure to the cows and pleasure to the senses,
yes,
right? Like that. Mukunda is one who gives you liberty,
correct.
right? Rishikesh is controller of the senses.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, Mataji, I got little. I don't know why did I get confused in this, but even after knowing the meaning, you see, messed it up.
Yes, yes. So that's what I'm saying, that don't use too much. Don't go too much into the meanings of it, too much in the meaning of when we are doing mantras, right? If you're in a class, we are explaining, we are going through purports, we are taking a shloka, we are going through all that, then that's fine. We are trying to understand that. For mantras, mantra, that is what a mantra is. By itself, just by the sound vibration, you will get liberated. Just chant, it'll have its own effect. I mean, look at that. They say that if your husband comes and asks you, what did you make today, Varshana Mataji? And you said, I made Rajma. You are actually chanting the name of the Lord. Why? Because if you drop the Ja from Rajma, what are you left?
Rama.
Rama. Right? So even that, so these sound vibrations are so powerful that even if they are within, a word, then also they will do that. Like who was that says they told him to chant Mara Mara?
Yeah,
Valmiki, right? And then what happened?
well,
What happened? He was chanting Mara
Ram,
Mara. What happened?
Ram,
Right. That is the
Ram, Ram,
that
Ram,
is the
Ram,
power of the
Ram, Ram.
sound. Yeah. He was not deliberating, he was not thinking. That is mantra. That is what mantra does. It's the sound that is powerful. And that's why Prabhupada says, hear and chant. Because he wants that vibrations to go through your ear into your heart, and they will do that trick there. Right? So go and sing with nice hand and yeah, go memorize this prayer. Go sing it to your heart's content. The MP3 is also there. You can get the tune from there, and there's an MP4 also if you want, with the text there, and the music follows the text, and there's a PDF there. So everything is there laid out for you. Just go enjoy devotional service. Just enjoy. You did like that. Okay. Devotional service is joyfully performed. Rajavidya Rajagoyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratakshagamam. Right? And then it says that it is performed with devotional, with joy. Susukham
Ach,
Artham Avyayam. Susukham. So your devotional service should be susukham. Right? It should not make you think, I did not know this verse, I'm useless, I'm this and I'm that. No. Okay? Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much for joining us online. We have Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Hemlata Mataji, Vidyavali Mataji, Anshika Bedi, Garima is watching us today there. We have Neelam Sharma and we have Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, your friend from India, Varshana Mataji. Danvat Pranam. Have a fantastic day. And tomorrow morning, if you're interested, I'll post that information there for you. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you, Runi. Thank you, Chitta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I want to tell you, after listening to you, Neelam Sharma, she was very keen to sponsor for Bhagavad Gita, and she asked me, and I said, okay, we will do that. And Mataji, the whole group is sponsoring 108 Bhagavad Gitas in Pune. The whole group, we read Bhagavad Gita every day. So they are sponsoring 108 Bhagavad Gitas.
Fantastic. Where is my Guru Dakshina? Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah, this is fantastic. Very good. Thank you, Neelam Mataji, for thinking about that. If you're still watching us there. Good. Keep doing the book distribution work. Guru Maharaj likes it. And more importantly, Srila Prabhupada likes it. Even better.
Yes.
Okay. So there is an announcement. There is a separate announcement for tomorrow. And I'm just thinking, let me just post that to your San Mateo group so that there is no confusion. Here I see only, yeah. Let me post my meeting from announcement yesterday. If somebody can confirm who's close to the computer, can go to the WhatsApp group, the Bhakti Vriksh, San Mateo. I posted it there so that you know tomorrow what time you should join. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I'll
Yes,
take
Mataji, you have posted Mataji.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, then I can.
December 12th, Youth Jam, Mataji, 3
No.
to 4:30.
13, December 13. Did I send you the right?
And then December, yes, then December 13,
Yes.
2020, Live to Give, Zoom 843-9289-6010, PWD. Live to Give. This you have just put.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And then I've stopped broadcasting on Facebook, but just want to let you know that tomorrow is Preeti Radhika's birthday. Preeti Radhika Mataji's December 13th. Okay?
I'll do that.
Yeah. If you want others to wish you on your happy birthday, then you can share it. You can share it with us and let us know. All right. I really need to end this right now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Keep up the good